Wow. Well, speaking of decisions you've made and how you live your life, let's talk about your sort of lifestyle nowadays. Because I've heard you're living a more humble lifestyle, and I heard you actually got plastic surgery, but that might have gotten a little bit tricky there. I kind of want to know the story of that, and new cars you're driving. You're actually driving a minivan instead of your usual sports cars. Having kids. Can you talk about all those things?
Yeah, sure. I mean, the whole entire plastic surgery, let me get this straight. When the doc said, if the doc said that I was going to look like this in 20 years, I wouldn't have done it, okay? Wouldn't have went through with it. And it's not like I necessarily regret it, because I do feel like it's a natural part of aging, but I think it was just worth it just because of all like the great cheekbones I got with Botox and everything was just so I looked so bog-like in my appearance. I looked so godlike almost because I need to have that because my cheekbones were always a little low. My ears were always a little bit too big. Plastic surgery isn't about making yourself look, like a completely different person. It's about perfecting what you already have. And I feel like I was perfected. And I don't regret it really until I reached my 50s when it all went downhill. My face went to shit. I mean, my god, my face looks like it's like stuff of nightmares. I mean, it looks like,
Cauliflower.
yeah, or like I was gonna say Freddy Krueger if you took his mask off. And I'm spending more time with the kids. I'm took up gardening too, which is a very great sort of holistic type of side hobby. I'm driving a minivan around with my kids to soccer practice. I'm really the real life demolition dad.
Wow, that's great. Glad you're changing your lifestyle because after the parties and the drugs and the cocaine and things like that, there was a lot of stuff going on in the 80s and 90s that just was really just not good for your health.
Parties and drugs last temporarily, and it's very, very pleasurable. Family lasts forever.
Truer words have never been spoken other than family is everything, which is much more important, I would say. But another film series. Sorry, I'm gonna hit you with another one here because this is just so great. The Bridgman film series, the Bridgman film franchise, one of my all-time favorites. You're now going on Bridgman 6, I think, so far. First Bridgman, I remember, it's a classic from the 80s where you and a team of American commandos have to rebuild a wooden bridge in Vietnam during the heat of the war. But by Bridgman 5, you guys were going to the Golden Gate Bridge, fending off aliens. I heard Bridgman 6 was going to take place at the Brooklyn Bridge, so you're just moving up in terms of bridges in the films, and it's awesome. So, tell us about Bridgman 6.
Now I gotta say, these film series they get more complicated as time comes on. It's no longer just you're an action hero, kill the bad guy, and that's it. No, it's gotta cater to like the nerds in the house, okay? And Richmond series, it kept going on and on. I thought there was just gonna be one initially. I thought the budget on that, and it was like the story, it was sort of, it was sort of one and done, with this bridge stuff. And I was like, listen, I want to give back to the veterans. I want to portray them in a good light. But at the same time, I'm never doing this bridge shit again, okay? Like, after the second one, I was like telling my agent, I was like, listen, I gotta stop doing these bridge movies, man. They're really getting to me. Didn't take till Bridgman 6 to realize that. Yes, it's true, but I've learned my lesson, okay? And hindsight's very healthy. Uh, Bridgman, I don't necessarily regret it because I don't regret anything I do. But I think Bridgman 6, as progressively as they got more lofty in plot, the less in budget went down, okay? Down the drain. So by Bridgman 6, you got it taking place entirely in front of a green screen, okay? On like a, less than $1 million budget. And I'm like, listen, I'm a pretty hefty movie star. I'm a lot of money on the screen. And I can work for a little bit less because I am pining for a little bit of roles these days. But listen, you got to make this bridge shit work or get off the pot, okay? Because the first one with the Vietnamese and everything, but now you're bringing aliens into this like it's Independence Day. Excuse me, but unless you got a really interesting plot with like aliens and maybe like an alien love scene or something like from Avatar, I'm not even interested, okay? Move on to the next one. Let's tie this up. I don't mind doing 20 Allegros, but Bridgman, ugh.
Yeah, I mean, talk about original plots, or whatever. That's why Bridgman 3 is actually my favorite because it takes place entirely on a footbridge in some American wooded area where some secret Russian base they're trying to like get some I don't know like a cache of bullets across, and basically the entire film takes place you trying to stop them from crossing a bridge with one boxed crate of bullets for the AK-47s, which is like super world ending plot level stuff, super exciting.
One of my personal favorite scenes from that was me befriending the young freedom fighter boy conscripted into the Vietnamese army, forced to fight for the Viet Cong. And I'm befriending him, and he's turning against the enemy, and I'm like, after the bridge is completely destroyed and is laid waste to, I'm just like, listen, we gotta build a bigger bridge.
Which leads right into Bridgman 4, which involves, again, the Russian army, except for this time they're going across a tiny creek bed bridge.
The bridges get fucking bigger. I mean, by Bridgman 6, they had like the fucking tie bridge, like the land mass that goes between two land masses, that goes underwater. I said, listen, I don't have a scuba license, and I can't do this. They said, no, we'll get you the scuba license. We'll go underwater, we'll film the fucking movie and get this over with.
And then, of course, Bridgman 5, which has a train bridge, a train trestle bridge. Super exciting, the ending where the train's coming right toward you, and you throw a literal Phillips head screwdriver onto the tracks, and it derails the entire train. That was incredible. But, enough of the Bridgman series. Let's talk about your past. I want to go way back to before the action movies. I heard some rumors that you played before you got your action movie roles and before you played in the Trash Man film series, which sort of catapulted you into more dramatic roles. You were actually in some erotic films as a young, sort of struggling actor in Hollywood. Can you tell us about that?
There were many days when you start out. Some people start out with the classic waitressing for a little while, you know, maybe a barber, you're living off tips. And I have no problem admitting that I had to stoop a little low to get some of those roles. Now, make it clear, these were not porno movies, okay? They were softcore erotic thrillers, okay? There was sex scenes that were explicit, but they weren't actual pornos, okay? I just want to make that clear. None of that what you hear in the news about, like about snuff. It's all bogus. But it's like, listen, I had the physique for it. I was a failed training from Mr. Olympia, okay? I'm like 6'4", 320 pounds. I'm like like a mass. I'm like a statue, okay? So they're like, listen, he's got the looks, but you gotta work on that honing in that acting a little bit, make it good, okay? Because we can really make this work. Otherwise, do you want to keep doing this for a living? And you can't. And let me assure you that you can't continue doing this till like you're past 35, because like then it's like, listen, the looks are degrading. It's like the physique. You're not gonna keep it forever. That Greek god physique. So I'm thinking, I really gotta up my game. I gotta I gotta really reach for the stars and try to get for better movies, because I was starstruck, and I really, at that point, I wanted to write my own biography and fictionalize myself and tell my story. Because ever since I was a little kid, I wanted to be a movie star. I looked up to the stars. My dad said when I was a little kid, he said, I want to be that. But I want to be on the big screen. Like, I want to be talking to the people, en masse. I want to be communicating my darkest secrets through the voice of a character, but a character that is very much me.
Wow, that was an incredible speech. I mean, I was definitely following every part of that, touched me to the core. One more movie we got to talk about, obviously, and I think you might know what it is. Gabriel, one of my all-time favorites, where you play an archangel. So funny, such a feel-good movie, so quirky. I just can't get over it. Please tell us about Gabriel.
I mean, my spiritual side I tapped into a little bit in Asia, I gotta tell you, but in this movie it really took out the spiritual aspect of me. I really enjoyed making Gabriel. It was same director who did the Monkey Wrench film, and it really, I was like, okay, I'm on terms. I was like, I'm never gonna fucking talk to this guy again. But then after getting through agents and agents and agents through like different contacts, mutual contacts, he's finally got the script to me, and I was like, yeah, it sounds great. Where can I sign up? Who's the guy who did this? And then like, listen, I don't know if you want to know this, but it's the same guy who did the monkey movie that you fucking hated so much and wasted like a good portion of your life toiling over. And I was like, that's not good at all, and I don't want anything to do with him. But at the same time, I was so compelled by the script and the characters in Gabriel that I couldn't resist. Like it came to me like a sultry woman, the script in the night, and it just took me over, and I was like, I've got to do it. I've got to. And so I did. And what I like about Gabriel is that they said, like, okay, after this, there's a need for action stars, and they said that there's a statistical rise in box office success if they play an angel at some point in their career. So if at some point in their career an A-list, B-list, or whatever celebrity decides to play an angel, it's gonna up their status in like the Hollywood, like box office. Like people are gonna be raving to see it. It's gonna sell like candy. So I was like, sign me up. And I really loved the just everything. I just adored the script. I really loved the aspect of making Gabriel more than just an angel. He was a man with flaws, and that he loved to dance. He loved eating pancakes with tons of maple syrup. So he had a cup of salt with him, and it was a funny little quirky scene where it was like he didn't know that salt was just meant to have a little bit shaken on your meal. He was like, I'm gonna have all the salt, so he just eat all the salt. It was a laugh riot, and I genuinely love it. And he was a very sensuous angel, unlike a common perception of angels as being this higher entity that's sort of metaphysical. But this angel, when he came down, he was just ready to dance, ready to be fun, ready to fraternize with the sinners, if I may say, if I may offend some churches, and to ready to hang out whether they were a Catholic or a non-Catholic or a Gentile or whatever you call them. And I really love the dance scene, the one with my future wife, Martha, in that. She plays in that too, where I really sweep her off her feet and I'm like dancing, but I'm doing all these like angel moves too. So there's a lot of like wing stuff, where he like sprouts wings halfway through and then like flies up, and it just like shocks everybody in there. Uh, but yeah, I really loved it. It was a lot of fun, and really, I did not feel a narcissistic element of, hey, look at me, I'm a fucking angel. Like I didn't think that at all. Like I just thought this is just me. This is just me at my best.